Hi, it's Coach Jim McGannon here with Ken Ernie. We're discussing some well-known Coach John Wooden quotes. And the topic of this podcast has to do with this well-known quote from Coach. If you think you are through learning, you are through. And it's got a lot of applications, so I'm going to let Ken start with that one.
Well, there's just a myriad of things I think of when I see that. One of them is the importance of reading. I learned a lot from reading other people's ideas, and we've heard the quotes about all leaders are readers, but not necessarily in reverse. But reading and absorbing other people's ideas just helps you grow so much. And when you stop doing that, you really do stop learning. And I got to say that at one point years ago, I wanted to say, here's my purpose. This is my vision for what I want to be. And it had three things: as I want to lead, I want to learn, and I want to care. And learning can't stop. It's just, you learn from other people, you learn from reading, you learn from experiences. No matter how old or how sick you might be, there's still always something to learn every day that you're alive.
Well, my anecdotes are really applicable to coaching and to the approach to skill development and ultimately winning. We often talk to the players and the parents about, this is not the most exciting approach, but winning is. Our kids make teams. Our kids play at the collegiate level. Our kids are some basics players are among the best players in the area, the kids that come. So I'm going to bring up a local coach in on this, and some of you may know this guy, Mike Sicori. He's the coach. He's the voice of the Bucks, and I believe the voice of the Lakers on the radio. And Mike was a basketball coach for years. So he had his grandson in the gym. Must be 10, 12 years ago. And I'm trying to teach these kids, these are third and fourth graders, how to jump stop. Jump stops are a critical skill in basketball, and a lot of times jump stops aren't even taught. So these kids were struggling typically, traveling or taking too many steps, or they're jump stopping off of the dribble. So Mike comes up to me and says, Jim, why don't you maybe teach them jump stops without the ball? No ball, just blow the whistle, get them to take 2 steps and jump stop. Well, what a great idea that is. So I haven't yet since then not done that. So I totally am indebted to Coach Sicori, and he taught me a better way, right? I'm not through learning. And I have another anecdote too I'll tell you about in a minute. I'm going to let Ken take the next segment here.
I got to tell you that as a coach back in those days of 29 seasons, you're constantly needing to learn. And it was so cool to connect with other coaches, professionals, college, other high school coaches, and not just reading their materials, but watching them coach, going to their practices, going to their clinics, and always making adjustments as needed. But to think that you ever obtain everything you need in life or in coaching or in teaching kids, it's not true. That there's always more. And I think that mindset is huge. And it applies to players too. And obviously for how coaches teach those players. So you're never done until your last breath.
The other anecdote with regard to this quote has to do with Coach Krzyzewski at Duke. Very well known, very successful. I think they've won 4, maybe 5, I'm not sure. But he's way up on the list. So he's out at a summer camp in California. This is, 10 or 15 years ago. They had already won a couple of national championships. He's regarded as one of the greatest coaches of the time, and he still is. And a community college coach approaches him and says, hey, Coach K, with regard to your motion offense at Duke, have you ever thought about using this particular thread, right? And he outlines this movement, which was purely his own. This is a community college coach in California. never heard of this guy, but he's in the same gym with Coach K, and they have a collegial relationship. Krzyzewski looks at this and says, "This is fantastic. I'm gonna actually apply this to our Duke motion offense next year." And he gave the guy credit, which was exactly right. You need to help these people along, or those that are helping you, you need to help back if you can. So Krzyzewski was not through learning there, and that's a great summary too with regard to Coach Wooden's comment. So I think that'll be it for this one, and we look forward to our next segment talking about Coach Wooden's comments. Thanks again.